Yo, what up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Uproar, and I'm back to discuss One Punch Man, specifically Garou's return and the full extent of his current power. So make sure to stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy seeing these One Punch Man videos on the channel and want to keep them coming, the best thing you could do is channel the caped baldy within and serious punch that like button until it's blue. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications, or you will miss future One Punch Man videos. If you have a One Punch Man topic you are burning up to see, let me know what it is in the comments below, and while you wait for the next One Punch Man video to drop, feel free to check out my growing One Punch Man playlist that includes videos on all S-class heroes, all A-class heroes, all dragon and god level monsters, and much more. Link to that is in the description. Now without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. So around the end of the latest One Punch Man chapter, we get Garou making his epic appearance in a very epic looking form. It's clear that he's a whole other beast compared to before. Bang is told that his former student is here and Atomic Samurai helps him out with the villains at hand, so that Bang can right his wrongs as a master by finally putting a stop to the human monster that is Garou. This is just about as hype as it gets, with Garou in his new form getting ready to fight Bang, a monster in his own right, and perhaps more S-class heroes. Last time we saw Garou, he absolutely freaked out S-class hero Darkshine. He made Darkshine realize that he was searching for a gratifying victory all the times he looked for a fight, and not a fight where the outcome was outside of his control. Darkshine's fear grew so large that Garou stopped attacking him because it almost looked like Garou was bullying the jacked Darkshine. And even though Garou considers himself to be a human monster, he doesn't much like bullies, having been bullied himself as a child. As Darkshine was taken away from the wreckage by Tatsumaki's power, Garou was left to be crushed by the falling boulders. Darkshine, currently the 11th ranked S-class hero, was psychologically broken by Garou. He was seen after the fight sweating and huddled in the fetal position, thinking with terror at Garou's ability to get back up again and again, stronger and fiercer than ever. After this scene, we saw Garou still alive, and even though he was super beat up, he felt confident that he could now reach threat level God. So what appears to be before us in the latest chapter of the manga appears to be god level Garou himself. And I gotta say, I love Garou as a villain. He says he wants to be the very incarnation of despair. He wants everyone to cringe in fear, but the end result is so heroic if you think about it. The reason he wants to be evil and a monster is so that in the face of the terror he brings, people will join hands and be thankful for simply being able to live. Injustice and those responsible for it will disappear. In a world where mere survival is a struggle, evil deeds will vanish like bullying and discrimination and even war. Rather than needing impartial justice, the world needs impartial evil, and Garou will get strong enough to give it that. Or at least he thinks as much. Garou is like the anti-phony hero. In reality, he's a phony villain who uses the words of evil and monsters, but is really aiming for a just society where people don't need to worry about discrimination, bullying, violence, or even war. It's a pretty warped philosophy, but a very intriguing one and hilarious one as well. And we gotta keep in mind, Garou is only 18 years old, so it makes sense that he's so over the top compared to the 25-year-old Saitama. But back to the question of how strong he actually is now. Well, going off the manga alone, we know that he's clearly supposed to be stronger in this new form than he was when he broke Darkshine, an S-class hero psychologically, and it's even suggested that he might be the first monster, quote unquote, to be officially classified as a god level threat. Of course, at this point, it definitely isn't official, but it's worth mentioning because Garou was sure he can achieve god level before we saw this new form, suggesting this is Garou's god level form. Now, I'm going to be diving into the webcomic from here on out, which is ahead of the manga in the story, so we can learn even more about how strong this version of Garou actually is. Keep in mind, the manga may change and usually does change some things as it moves on with the story, but the webcomic is the closest we can get to the answer right now, so if you don't want to see any webcomic spoilers, this is about the time you want to stop the video. For those still with me, let's dive into webcomic Garou. Garou does in fact go on to proclaim that he has reached threat level God. Not surprisingly, all of Fubuki's attacks are useless against him. He goes on to face Golden Sperm, an OP evolved form of Black Sperm, who had just made Tatsumaki, the second ranked S-Class hero, appear weak by comparison. Keep in mind, Black Sperm was already dragon level before this OP Golden transformation. After the first few punches, Golden says that Garou has already reached many levels above what humans are capable of, which in theory should put him above many more S-Class heroes beyond just Darkshine. The heroes watching think to themselves that Golden is unbeatable, and yet this new Garou beats him relatively easily. At this point, even if Garou hasn't officially been classified as a god level threat, he is so many levels beyond the starting point of dragon level that it's practically pointless to just call him dragon level and compare him to other dragon level monsters. Garou goes on to flex on many S-Class heroes present, like Genos Atomic Samurai, even the second S-Class hero Tatsumaki, and more, stating that at his current level, Tatsumaki's powers are not much better than her sister's, which is a harsh burn to both of them. Tatsumaki has all the motivation in the world to go all out against Garou, since he suggests to her that he killed her little sister, the most important thing to her. Of course, we later find out that Garou doesn't really want to kill anybody and holds back, but this was the perfect thing to say to get Tatsumaki to go all out. Garou praises his own technique and says it's reached disaster level god, so not even him but his own technique has reached god level, and calls it Monster Calamity Godslayer Fist, claiming it has no weak spot. Tatsumaki and other S-Class heroes tag team him, but Garou is too strong and beats them all. Notably, Tatsumaki does say she would have done better if her brain wasn't harmed, but still, you can't take away from Garou's insane display of easily overpowering Golden Sperm and then every S-Class hero present, along with Sweet Mask too. Eventually, Saitama and Flashy Flash show up. Before Saitama gets his turn, Flashy Flash, with the help of other S-Class heroes again, tries to take on Garou, but he actually ends up being impressed by Garou's speed, saying it's so fast. Coming from Flashy Flash, who's known for his speed above all else, that is insane praise. He then goes on to send Flashy Flash blasting off, having beaten him in speed and definitely in power. We are told that Garou is steadily getting stronger and no S-Class hero can eventually stand against him. It gets to the point where he's taking care of S-Class heroes with one shot. Finally, we get the hype battle versus Saitama and Garou. Of course, as we can expect from this series, Saitama is unfazed. He takes Garou's reason for living and calls it, quote-unquote, playing your monster game, and calls his new so-called god level form some cheap monster costume. Long story short, all of Garou's blows have no real effect on Saitama, and one of Saitama's punches sends Garou flying. To his credit, Garou does get up from this punch, and Saitama slams him into the ground, excited to see that he can keep going after this. Before the battle is over, Garou does manage to dodge some punches from Saitama, and he lands countless blows on Caped Baldy. At one point, Garou, despite how strong he's gotten, feels like an insect in a cage, while Saitama is the kid toying with the insect. Garou undergoes quite a few forms, or costume changes as Saitama calls them, where he begins to look more and more like a monster, but eventually, as Saitama says, he starts getting weaker rather than stronger. Even when Garou knows he's beat and the S-Class heroes are begging Saitama to finish Garou off, Saitama refuses to because he knows that Garou purposely held back and didn't kill the S-Class heroes he beat. He knows that Garou's not as bad of a guy as he's making himself out to be. While he was saying he wanted to be a monster of absolute evil, what Garou really wanted was to be a hero. He compromised and decided to become a monster to bring about world peace. And according to Saitama, he took the easy route, thinking a monster's job was quicker and easier than a hero's. Saitama tells him that this compromised monster hobby could never beat Saitama's serious hero hobby, which is just hilarious. I absolutely love how he not only destroys Garou physically, but philosophically too. Nevertheless, after a bit of friendly thrashing from Bang, Saitama lets Garou escape, which angers most of the S-Class heroes no doubt, and that pretty much covers the scope of this video. Of course, as we expect expected, Garou couldn't beat Saitama. Saitama used some so-called serious moves, but it was obvious he never meant to kill Garou. He was just toying with him. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean Garou was weak. In fact, Garou beat multiple S-class heroes working together and Golden Sperm, an at least upper dragon level threat that all the S-class heroes seem to fear. And he didn't have trouble with any of this, even against Tatsumaki, the second best S-class hero. We don't know exactly how this will play out in the manga and how much will be changed or added, but what I'd love to see is Blast take on Garou. That would be a great way of getting a sense of both of their powers, especially Blast's, which are a pretty big mystery at this point. In the end, was this form of Garou a god level threat? Well, it's up to interpretation. He did proclaim himself to be a god level threat, and he was way above a standard dragon level threat, but he was never officially classified as a god level threat by others, only by himself. And yes, he lost against Saitama, but if a god level threat needs to be able to beat Saitama, then we will probably never ever get to see an official god level threat. But that is it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and now we have a better sense of what happened in the webcomic and can compare it to how the manga handles god level Garou from here on out, taking into account the similarities and perhaps more importantly the differences. I'm very excited to see how this unfolds, and the manga tends to make very interesting changes, like using Blast more, so you can bet that I'll be paying very close attention to the upcoming chapters. If you did enjoy this video and want to keep the One Punch Man videos coming, the best thing you could do is channel the K Baldy within and serious punch that like button until it's blue. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications, or you will miss future One Punch Man videos. If you have a One Punch Man topic you are burning up to see, let me know in the comments below, and while you wait for the next One Punch Man video to drop, feel free to check out my growing One Punch Man playlist. That includes videos on all S-class heroes, all A-class heroes, all dragon and god level monsters, everything we know about Blast, and much more. Link to that is in the description. And I especially want to thank the patron squad over on Patreon and here on YouTube who help make videos like this one possible. First and foremost, I want to thank the patron of legend, the one acknowledged by Lord Twigo himself, Alpha Sigma, and are the one tier patrons, the ones who stand atop all clans: Ingrata, Pate Hefa, Aljatal, Dr. Cortman, The Toasted Chi, Emperor Otaku, Spidey Life Tanel, Tungsten Tarkus, Baked Buddhist, Cody Hebert, and Monkey D. Quilly. And our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, the red-haired Raven, Angel Cruz, Anatoly Kazatsky, Very Gucci, Alicia Actor, Bonnie Parks, Hinokami and Water, Joanne Garcia, Ted No Ted, Fatboy Games, Corey McGowan, Metal Mama, Deadly Saint, and Soul Rise Slice and Dice. Thank you all so much. If you do enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/animeuproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these amazing people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord where we talk about anime life and of course dank memes. So check out patreon.com/animeuproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also join the YouTube channel by clicking that blue join button next to the subscribe button that you've hopefully already destroyed. So yeah, you can support more content that way if you prefer. Whichever way you choose to support us, you can get the same great benefits. Thanks again, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.